If you think about a growing population that by year 2050 is going to have 9 billion people.
Technology is really what's going to ultimately be able to deliver more food to more people in the next 20 to 30 years.
We have to produce as much food in the next 40 years as humanity has in the last 8,000. Now, we're not going to get there with a business as usual model. And whatever we might discuss about being sustainable today won't be sustainable by 2050.
You know, in other parts of the world, I think there's probably certainly a greater awareness of food as you got people that are, you know, going to bed hungry at night. In the U.S., we've been pretty fortunate.
So in developing countries around the world, almost half of the food is lost before it comes to the food table. In the developed world, almost half is lost after the table. And so how do we bridge that, bring those things together?
It's really easy to go into a store and you can get whatever you want, basically year-round, for a reasonable price.
But the technological advancements of agriculture and the speed at which they can grow and the accuracy at which they can plant and take care of a crop are incredible, and people don't understand that.
And I think consumers are really much more concerned. They're starting to think about where their food comes from. I think this is sort of new.
I think farmers can work together in a variety of ways in terms of better educating consumers about modern agriculture practices. First and foremost, I think, is through their commodity organizations and understanding exactly what it is that they want to convey.
I think the biggest thing we really need to do is get consumers and farmers reconnected so they really understand what I'm doing out here, and then I'm also actually to be able to provide services, even ecosystem services that they may not even be aware of, that I can go ahead and help solve some of the world's problems, as well as produce a very viable, quality source of food.
I think that's one of the big issues that we all have to deal with, is that how to rebuild this communication between consumers and agriculture producers in our countries.
We have consumers out there who, for rightly or wrongly, have sort of fallen in love with the word organic. They believe it's a healthier lifestyle choice. We can get the same benefits from conventional agriculture. We just need to go out, make those innovative steps, and then communicate well with the consumer base.
We should take advantage of every technology that we can to feed the world and provide a safe and abundant food supply. And that means being open-minded and analytical about what those tools are.
We're going to feed the population we think we're going to try and feed. We've got some other issues that are even broader than agricultural policy that we've got to address. And the sooner we can bring them in a coordinated fashion under the Farm Bill umbrella, I think the better society and agriculture will be.
The Farm Bill could address areas that it hasn't addressed in the past, areas where they could go and provide innovation for specialty crops. Very little work's been done there, and yet growers want to provide high-yielding, healthy, nutritious food.
There are 16 million jobs in agriculture in the United States. The Farm Bill is a jobs bill. We should be talking about it as a jobs bill. We should be talking about a bill that relates to health, food security, national security.
How do we find a way to come together and value a whole portfolio of agricultural production? And I think you do that by having a series of partnerships and having it be as local as possible. You don't do it by putting into place regulations that will be almost impossible to implement or really have any meaningful actions come from.
Policymakers have an obligation to help talk about where their food comes from in the United States, and then because it's all related back to global trade, and it's all related back to regulation, and it's all related back to food safety. And these policies are written on Capitol Hill, and the consumers are counting on policymakers to have a full understanding when they are making policy, that they completely understand the issues at hand.
Because it isn't just about the one consumer who's making the choice. It really is about feeding the world and having that bigger picture, because America has that opportunity to provide, and if we create room for technology to succeed and support farmers, we'll deliver on it.